just want to go ahead and introduce this video really quick. So in this video, I'm going to do a layout for my tax prep this year. I want to be really clear. I am not advising you on how to collect information for your taxes. I am not a tax professional. I'm not even a financial professional. Really, this is more about how I use blank pages in my DIY planner or my bullet journal every year. And I find it very useful to have an organized list of the things that I need to pull together for my taxes every year. So I thought I'd just go ahead and share that layout and show you how I organize the information. Again, you'll want to customize it, that layout, to whatever works best for you based on the advisement of a tax professional. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do my layout, how I organize things, and hopefully you'll find it helpful. All right, so I'm going to walk through how I do my tax prep like to-do list or layout for my bullet journal. And again, I'm using a extra large moleskin notebook. This is actually the squared or the grid one. I normally like to use the dotted because I don't like to have the lines, but I'm just going with this for right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do this on two facing pages. So on this page, I'm going to have what are my income items, and then on this one is more like expenses and deductions. And I'm also going to leave some space for notes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a title box. I'm going to use pencil to start. And then I like to compartmentalize things. I don't like to have like personal and business stuff kind of in the same section. So I'm going to create these little boxes. So this first box is going to be for W-2s. And so tracking the W-2s. And I'm making that box a lot smaller because there's usually not as many. And I'm just using pencil. I'm going to go over this with a marker and make it look cleaner. And then I'm going to do basically the same thing I did above. For other items. And I'll show you the different categories that I have. Okay, now I'm going to create the layout on the other side for the deductions and the expenses to organize that information. And again, this is just a to-do list for me to check things off. This is not me recommending that these are the things that you need to include in a tax prep list. I do work with the tax preparer, and so that's why I leave space for questions for her. And I also leave space to add things in case I've forgotten something. And I find that it's really useful to come back to this year after year because it helps me start the work that I need to do for my tax preparation. It makes it easier, just like a jumping off point to refer to the last year's to-do list. All right, so now I'm going to go over this with a calligraphy pen, a non-bleed pen that I got on Amazon that works really well. Okay, so now I'm going to put in my headings in the different buckets of areas that I'm going to be tracking. Okay, so on this side, I have smaller sections for like areas where I don't think there's going to be a whole lot. A section for banks and investment accounts. Obviously, you're going to use whatever categories that work for you in your situation. I do have a business in addition to having W-2s coming in, so I'm also tracking that. I also put a section below for notes and questions so that I can ask my tax preparer or identify anything that's missing. And that's what the other section is too, is because maybe she's going to say, oh, you need this, and so I'll go ahead and add something there. Then with expenses and deduction, again, this is just how my brain works. I have a decent sized section for medical expenses, business related expenses, miscellaneous items, and other. And then I also have a space here at the bottom for notes and questions. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fill this out with some like basic information, just so you can kind of see a finished product. Okay, so this is kind of like a summary of what the things that I collect for my own tax prep. Obviously, there's all kinds of other categories, all kinds of other things that you may include that I don't. But the idea is really kind of the bucket things to remind myself to go through and really collect all this information, and I can check it off. And then I really like to leave the other section, because if my tax preparer says, oh, you need this other thing, I can go ahead and write it in there. So I hope this layout was helpful to you and maybe gives you some ideas. And I really do find that this is like really helpful to do this every year, because it gets me off to a good start when I can refer to the previous year's to-do list for this. So